Hey guys, this is Professor LaRosa of LaRosa Private Training. If you remember correctly, last week we talked about defending the omoplata and the frustrations that I had with the technique as how it's usually taught. And then this week I'm going to teach my way of how I do the omoplata. And you'll notice the way that I do it, you aren't going to be able to defend the way that I taught last week. You're actually going to have a lower chance of defending this technique. What we're going to do differently is instead of figure fouring the legs, we're going to cross the feet and we're going to kick forward. You'll notice that'll break our opponent's posture. So let's go ahead and get into this. Alright guys, so this week we're talking about how to do and perform the omoplata. Last week we talked about why we should not figure four the way almost everyone's been taught to do the omoplata. Very easy to counter. I'm going to show you the version that I do. All the escapes that I showed last week will not work on this setup. So we're going to start from closed guard. I have my ankles crossed around my partner. He's got good posture, hands on hips. I'm going to bring my hands underneath. Remember, this is no gi. We don't have the gi to start breaking posture. And if I start sitting up, all I'm doing is wasting energy because my partner now has pressure here and he can start CPRing me. So when I sit up, he pops me, okay? So we need to be better with our technique, more efficient with our energy. We bring our knuckles in, hands together, hence pray and break. Pull my knees forward, follow to the mat. Notice his posture just broke. Once we do this, I'm going to shoot one side underhook. In this case, I'm going to shoot my left. Notice when I do this, my thumb contours the rear delt. Never ever do this. One, this is a shit grip. Two, when I go to gable, notice the forearm goes across the face. If I'm here and I go to gable, see I can't do that? I wrist lock myself. So thumb contours, rear delt, gable, praying his face away. Foot on hip, I use that to angle my body. Notice I'm on my rib cage now, okay? From here, I start working up his back, collapsing his posture. This leg comes over the head, right here, right next to the face. Swing my hips out. This is where most people were doing that figure four. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cross the ankles. Watch how I use my hips and my legs and I extend from this position. Notice my partner's posture is completely broke. So last week, we talked about the stacking and him putting his knee on my face or my body. Now, he won't be able to. We're still gonna check the hip. I like to control the wrist. You'll notice he cannot attack my legs. Reason being, one, I'm keeping them extended. Two, my knees are squeezed. Notice I don't have them open. I'm squeezing the entire time by straightening this leg. He isn't eligible to attack this toe hold because it's trapped on top of my own ankle. So for the finish, we're gonna control the wrist. I'm gonna sit out into my pigeon. So watch how I hamstring curl underneath this leg. I tilt my hip out and I bring knee to heel. You're gonna notice in a lot of my techniques, this is a common theme that I do. Now what I do is I'm gonna run my rib cage across my partner. A lot of people start leaning forward. That actually starts taking off pressure. I wanna bring his shoulder out here on a 45-degree angle. It's a very, very fast tap.